Hi guys, just a quick video here, and this is just about the strategy for passing IT certification. In my opinion, in my experience, the consistency is king. Your study needs to be like when you eat, when you sleep, you're driving, working. It's not something optional, it's just something built into your routine. It's something that you do all the time. You don't even, it's never even an option to you that that am I going to do this? Am I not going to do this? You just do it. Just like you eat breakfast in the morning, just like you go to sleep at night. It's something that's in your mind. So this, I think, it's really important that we build that consistency. And if you're struggling with consistency, then one thing that I would suggest that you do is to print out a calendar of the quarter, the next 3 months. So in this case, it's October, November, and December. You can print one out from the internet. For example, I've got one here, and I would suggest that each day if you have studied, you simply grade your day. So, for example, today, Sunday, 13th of October, you grade your effort. If you've done nothing, you put an F. If you did study, then you grade yourself from a C, which is a pass, to a B, which is okay. I'd say a B would be a good, A, very good, A star, you smashed it, you nailed it. So if you've nailed it, then give yourself an A star. That way, every single day, you can see how much effort you put in your studies, and that way, you can keep track of how hard you're studying, how consistent you are. If you've not done anything, you can put an F, or you could put a dot, so that you know that, okay, the 15th I didn't study. That means the next day you're gonna have that drive to study harder. But this way, you keep track of how well you're doing in terms of consistency, because that's the key, guys. Is consistency when it comes to certification, like the CCNA, or if there's any Microsoft certification that you're doing, is consistency. You got to have that consistency, otherwise, unfortunately, you're not gonna get there, because it's like they say, Rome wasn't built in a day. It wasn't built in a day, and what you got to do is every day you lay a brick. And that gets you closer and closer to completing your studies, your certification study. So every day you do a bit. Whether that's reading, whether that's read a chapter from the book. You did a lab. You did you might have even taught something that you taught something to someone else, that of what you studied. And every day you get a bit of progress, that motivates you every single day. And once you get that consistency, you're on fire. And now, if you have the discipline, nothing will stop you. You will always study. If you have a day here that you slip up, you weren't feeling well, something, you had a genuine excuse, fine. But you will make sure next day you will get right back on it. That's the most important thing, guys. If you want to be successful with a certification, and that's what I found for me. For before, I'm studying now for CCNA, but in the past I was studying for micro certification, and that was the same. It was the same thing that applies, guys. So definitely just make sure you have the consistency. I mean, look, everyone might have a day where they don't do something. You get busy. Life gets in the way sometimes. But as long as you're making up for it, you're making sure you're doing either something like a every day, like I said, reading from the book. You can see I've got a book there, CCNA Study Guide. You're reading from the book, or you do a lab. You might go over some practice exam questions. You might watch some a video of the actual training, and things like that. That's all going to build you up towards getting to the end goal. Second thing I would say is, you can't remember what you're learning. You need a different strategy. This is extremely important, guys. That when we study, we don't get fall into the trap where we're not being very strategic on how we are learning. Time is limited, and just watching videos or reading a book, these are very can be very ineffective. If um, because you're not doing any active recall. You're just simply consuming something, and just consuming information doesn't really, everyone's different, but especially in my case, and I think for a lot of people, it doesn't necessarily help you remember that material until you do construct something out of it, and you do something transformative with that information. You make some sort of resource, something that's going to help you in future remember that content in a better way rather than just simply reading off a book. Because like when we read from newspapers, or you read or something online, you read a blog, you read a post on social media, it goes in, and then eventually it goes out, and you don't want it to just read something. Okay, you might have understood it, but it comes to tomorrow, you can't remember that, or you can half remember it. It's like, you're reading about spanning tree protocol. One day you read, you're reading about how you need to spanning tree, how about BPDU God, and how it's disabled. It's by default, it's something that's disabled. You have to enable it. So spanning tree portfast BPDU God default is a command that you use to enable BPDU God. Now you might read that on Monday. By the time it comes to Wednesday, you cannot remember that anymore. Why? Because you just simply read that. Okay, you understood it, but you never did anything with that information. You didn't lab with it. You didn't write it down. You didn't teach that to someone. You didn't record yourself about discussing that. Something that's going to help you, or you might be. There's various ways you could do it. You might make a poster or something about spanning tree. There's different ways that you can remember. Flashcards. So these things. So, like I said here, like YouTube video, something that I do, and I find is very, very effective. In fact, is probably one of the best things one of the best decisions I think I've ever made with my studies was to make YouTube videos about what I'm learning. It's amazing to share what you learn with other people, to help other people. I think it's truly a blessing, and it's something which I found that I really enjoy. And it does really help remember information for myself, to remember information in the future. Another thing, though, poems, songs, it doesn't matter if the city. At the end of the day, if it's going to help you remember something, it's going to help you remember something. It doesn't mean you need to go and tell your friends about it. It doesn't mean you need to go and put this on social media. But if it's something that you can sing to yourself, it's going to help you, then why not? I mean, so that's something else. Because look, at the end of the day, a lot of the material is difficult to, it's not easy to remember, especially things like commands. They're not very easy to remember. Commands, the command, Cisco IS, even though it's not, the syntax isn't as isn't as difficult as maybe some other command lines, or other, maybe like Linux, for example. In my experience, I think, I'm not a big Linux, I'm not a very experienced Linux person. I've dealt with, I've had a bit of exposure to Linux. I've done a bit with Linux, but not much. But in my experience, it's easier to remember Cisco IS commands than Linux commands. So, but still, I mean, information can be dry. So if you can make a song to really help you, that can really help. I also think voice recordings, just making a recording on your phone and then maybe listen to it while you're driving. That's something else that you could do, and I think that can be effective as well. Teaching, you teach your friend, teach your pet, teach your brother, or your sister, or your spouse. So that also can be something that, and this can be in the form of YouTube video. It doesn't have to be. or you can even record yourself as if you were teaching a classroom. You're not teaching a classroom, but you can pretend, you can use your imagination that you were teaching someone. How would you teach that information? You can record it and then, like I said, listen to it afterwards. Especially for you guys who have long commutes to work, just play it while you're driving. There's something that that I do. I make recordings about what I learn, and then I listen to it while I drive. And it's I'm driving, but I'm also revising at the same time. And it's amazing that you can do something like that nowadays. Is you know and you really make the most of those time. Because a lot of people like myself, I drive for over an hour each day, going and coming back from work, and that hour, if I can spend on revision, then that's an hour that is going towards my self-development. And it's not just just spent in doing mundane activity. So that is something also that I would recommend. A picture, even a picture, I think is something that can be really helpful. Like they say, a picture's 1,000 words. It's 1,000 words. A picture can really help. So if you can make a little cartoon about a command or a concept that you need to remember, that could also be something. Like I said, flashcards as well. Flashcards I think are amazing. Flashcards are amazing. It doesn't have to necessarily be the physical card. You could also make a voice recording. It's something that something I'm gonna try and experiment myself. But I think voice recordings of yourself going through questions and answers, like for example, what is the what is the IEEE standard for the rapid explanatory protocol? What is the IEEE standard that is for this instance of spanning tree, rapid spanning tree? It's 822.1W. Excuse me. So 821W. Now, like I said, if you read that, you can go in and out. But if you were to make yourself a recording of yourself reading questions and then going through the answers, this could be practice exam questions. It could be flashcard questions. So they're not so just going over key terms like multiple spanning tree. What is the protocol that multiple spanning tree is built on? 822.1s. What is the what is area 0 for OSPF? What's area 0? It's the backbone area. It's the backbone area. It's the area that all the OSPF adjacencies will connect to. All the OSPF areas will connect to the backbone area. They will connect to that backbone area. Area board router, what is that? Well, is a router that joins two or more areas together. So now, if you were to write them out and then to shuffle them and practice like that, physically looking at them, that's something that's worked for people for generations. But you don't have to do that way. You could make a recording of yourself reading out question, answer, and if you were like driving, you could pause in between each question and think to yourself, can I answer this? And if not, just play the recording, listen to the answer, then move on to the next question, answer. If you were driving for half an hour, 1 hour, let's say you're driving half an hour, that time you could just revise 30 key terms or 30 short question answers in half an hour. It's amazing. You can be driving and revising, and I think this is something that I've been doing recently, and it's really helping, and I think is something that will help others as well. So voice recordings, going through flashcards, going through exam questions as well. I mean, it's not some questions are you need to look at a topology and things like that, so I totally understand that, but it's not like that can't be done as well. Exam questions in an audio recording format, this is something that can be done. Or you can do you can have physical or virtual flashcards. Flashcards. So this is where I think Anki and Quizlet, two both great apps. If you look at Jeremy IT Lab, he's got flashcards on Anki for the CCNA. So there's something you could look at. Jeremy IT Lab, I'd definitely recommend looking at his channel. For you guys who don't know, Jeremy IT Lab's one of the top CCNA instructors now. His material, his videos are absolutely brazen because they go into so much depth, which under instructors might not go in. But he really nails it when it comes to the depth. So I definitely recommend looking at Jeremy IT Lab. He's a brilliant YouTube channel. There's something else. And look, the last thing I'm going to say when it comes to the CCNA or any other certification is a study plan. You need an effective study plan. Study plan is extremely important. Otherwise, this ensures that we stay on track and do the right things. So definitely, have a look at study plan if you can download one. If you don't have a study plan, just, Excel is a great place to start. Excel, list out the chapters. You can list out the chapters, and you can make you can make your own study plan that way. List out all the chapters in your course, and then just put and then on list them out in separate rows. And then what you can do is have column for have I read the chapter, have I labbed the chapter. If your exam is something that you need to have actual lab experience in, like CCNA, not all exams like this. For example, well, I was going to say, you got exams like MS 900, which are, are more entry level. You need to have some exposure to things like, I've done MS 900, which is the Microsoft 365 fundamental certification. Something like that. Yeah, you do need to have a level of exposure to the Office 365 portal, to Windows. So I wouldn't actually say you don't need to lab at all for exams like that. But some exams might just be just theory based. But let's if we just look at the majority or most, especially when it comes to administrator exams, you're going to be required to lab in order to prepare. So if you've got a certification like CCNA, see, the good thing with CCNA, you can download your if you look at places like CBT NoGurds, or you look at if you got the official cert guide by Wendell Odom, then you can download his study plan. But if you don't have a study plan, one place to start it depends on the book that you're following. But if you're following the official cert guide, then you shouldn't need this. But let's say if you were doing a different guide, list out the chapters in rows, and then you can have I read the book? Have I read the chapter? Yes, no, like that. And then you can have labbed, yes, no. So like that, you can do that way. And then you can have video as well, if you were following a video course with it as well, which I imagine you would be. And then you can also have practice test. So I'll just put PT here, practice test. Have you done a practice test for that chapter? And like that, you can keep track of your progress. And then, you print this out, you stick it on your wall, or you just keep it somewhere where you're going to review it. And like that, you can keep track of your progress. And this is essentially, I know it's been a bit of a long video, but I think this is really important to really keep in mind, guys, when we're studying, three things. Consistency is king. So like I said, having one of those, having like a calendar, if that could help you. Having a calendar like this and just keeping track of your progress each day, just by by grade, just grade your effort, so you can see, am I doing it each day? And then making sure whatever strategy you're using is something that's working for you. So like I said, if it might be flashcards, might be you might need to teach what you're learning to someone. So that could be someone physically, like a friend, spouse, your pet. If you've not got anyone else, or you could just record. If you don't have anyone, you could just record yourself. Pretend you were teaching someone. How would you teach it? You can record yourself. You can make audio recording. You can make a camera recording. You do on a whiteboard, like I do. I love whiteboards, and I think that they are absolutely amazing for teaching. So, using whiteboards, or you could do it on PowerPoint. If you want to do it that way, and if you want to go, if maybe you need to go a step further. Maybe you do need to put your video on YouTube. Maybe you do need to create your little YouTube channel just to help yourself, in your journey. So that's something that you could do. And then obviously finally, like I said, study plan. So something like this on an Excel spreadsheet, you can tailor it to your needs, but I think that's something that is really important, guys. So this will help you keep consistent every day. Make sure that you're studying, and make sure and keep a track of how much effort you're putting in. Whereas this is more to go down into the detail, to actually get a zoom in and see exactly where you are. This is more of a high level overview of just generally how much effort you're putting in, how consistent you are. Whereas this more deep dive of where you are with your study. What have you done? What have you not done? So I hope this has been beneficial for you guys. But I think it was really important for me to share the study methods that I feel have worked as part of this channel, because you can use my videos, but I want you guys to have to know a method that is going to be effective for you. Obviously, I'm not saying my method is not everything. I think these are the key things to keep in mind. That being said, I think I've not necessarily included everything. There are other things as well that make that will make your studies effective. But I think what I've said are definitely some of the key things that need to be followed. So I hope this has been beneficial for you guys. Thank you for everyone who supports my channel. I do really appreciate it. It makes me really happy whenever I get new subscribers. It's absolutely amazing. So thank you for all the support, guys, and please stay tuned for more videos. Cheers.